Conversation going now. Joining me now is Newsmax foreign policy analyst and author of Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy, Walid Phares. Also with us is the host of the Foreign Desk podcast and the editor-in-chief of the Foreign Desk, Lisa Daftari. Walid, Lisa, great to see you both. Walid, I want to get your reaction to, again, these rapid developments. We haven't dipped into the situation in Syria in a while, and it probably begged the question for a lot of people watching these developments unfold, what the U.S. role is in Syria right now, given that, years ago it had been working with the YPG to eradicate ISIS. The U.S. had ended its alliance and it allowed Turkey to go in on the border there. But Iran, as I was just mentioning to Sarah Williamson, remains a very destructive force on the battlefield. What do you make of this escalation?
Well, let me begin with the conclusion, Kilmany. Iran wants us out from Eastern Syria because that's where we are. Basically, we have been there to fight ISIS. We had an ally on the ground, the Kurds, YPG and others at the time, and also Arab tribes and some Christian communities as well. But then now this force is very small. It's dispersed across Eastern Syria. And around that force, you have Iran-led militias. You also have a pocket of ISIS. So what prompted this attack? Because the Iran leadership understand that this administration is not going to check or deter the Iranians. They have a lot of reasons to believe so, starting with their alliance with China and Russia. Also, the way we withdrew from Afghanistan convinced them that, the U.S. could retaliate and strike back. But if a decision is made in Washington, we will leave Syria. And most importantly, at the end, the Saudi-Iran deal convinced further Tehran that one large part of the Middle East is not anymore part of the U.S.-led coalition. For all these reasons, on their own, the Iranians wants to see the Americans leaving. That's why they conduct those strikes and believe that the United States will respond punctually, but will not wage a full campaign against them.
Lisa, what do you make of the response that we saw from the Biden administration with regard to the retaliation with those precision airstrikes and how this could potentially escalate from here?
Yeah, you heard him. I mean, he first says, we don't really want to escalate anything, but there will be consequences. It's like telling your kid, I don't want to punish you, but beware, I'm going to punish you. So, they don't take us seriously. This is too little, too late. I'll tell you, there have been 29 strikes on U.S. assets in Syria and Iraq just since October. And this is the first time we're hearing about a retaliation. There is a reason why Iran's regime has become emboldened against the United States, and it's for many reasons, many of the ones that Walid just mentioned, and I'll add a few more. For 4 decades, this regime has been in power, and as far as they have been able to, they have engaged in proxy wars. They don't want it on their soil, but they will fight everywhere else. They will spread their brand of Shiite Islam everywhere. And look, the United States, particularly in the Obama administration and now under Biden, has enabled them to do so. So they're in Syria, they're in Iraq, they're in Lebanon, they're in Yemen, they're in Gaza, they're in the West Bank, they're everywhere they can gain and spread their influence. And the second reason, right now, the Achilles heel of this Iran regime is the people of Iran being able to rise and start a grassroots movement. That's exactly what's been going on for 6 months. So the Iranian regime thinks to itself, let's escalate outside of our borders. Let's have people rally around the flag. Yeah. Let's take the attention off of the protests inside our country. And that's exactly what you're seeing.
Walid, what is the U.S. role in Syria right now?
Well, if you ask the Biden administration, we won't get an actual answer. And that's the problem. And that's why everybody has a big appetite in replacing our forces, should it be Iran or Turkey in some cases, or the Muslim Brotherhood militias, of course, the Assad regime. Initially, we were there to fight ISIS. We reduced ISIS. The second mission was not done, which is to decide what to do in the area, which is 1/3, maybe plus, of Syria. Should we empower the local population? For example, the Kurds, the Christians, the Sunni Arabs, even Shia dissidents against Iran. Should we do this? Or what is our role at the end of the day? Yeah, we are defending our positions one after the other. The military are always doing great. The U.S. military can respond and deter. But it's the political decision in Washington by the administration. What is the future of U.S. forces or U.S. presence or role in Eastern Syria? I don't have any answer for that.
We're talking about Iranian militias lashing out and an administration that's been very weak on foreign policy. So where does that leave Israel, Lisa?
Look, Israel has to fight this on its own, particularly in light of the latest news out of the region that China was able to bring Saudi Arabia and Iran's regime together. If there was one silver lining to the way that the geopolitics was laying itself out in the Middle East, it was that we were seeing this Saudi-led coalition, which Israel would be a part of, along with the states that were more moderate and signed along to the Abraham Accords. They wanted to stop. It's not that they all love each other and they love Israel. It's that they wanted to stop Iran's regime from spreading. And then you had Iran fending for itself and doing a great job of spreading throughout the Middle East, particularly with the help of different administrations here in the United States. So now Israel thinks to itself, look, it's an existential threat. Iran has sworn many times over that it will take Israel off the map in very close proximity. We know that they've been moving and marching on with their nuclear program and enriching uranium. So Israel has to fight for itself. It doesn't have that same partner it had here in the United States for so many years. And now it looks around and says, look, we're here alone. We have the intel. We know that because they helped the United States with the level of intel that Israel has in the Middle East. But again, the United States becoming irrelevant, the United States withdrawing itself and not having that will to have that seat at the table, and with regards to important crises in the Middle East, will leave our ally Israel abandoned in the region as well.
Lisa Daftari and Walid Phares, appreciate you both being here. Thank you.